Welcome back as we continue to take a look at my preseason rankings for the 2023 NFL Draft Class. Remember, this is a watch list for you guys going into the college football season. And today we're going over linebackers, which this class is a bit interesting, but I'm going to give you my top 10 and then I'm going to give you some guys at the end. So don't. Once we get to number one, don't be like, yeah, nah, I'm done. I'll go away. No, we're going to be talking about guys after that. But as always, let me know what you think in the comments section below. By the way, if you don't know who I am, well, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy, Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So let's go ahead, do the gosh darn diggity thing, and go look at number 10, MOHAMOUD DIABATE, out of, well, Utah, formerly of Florida. He was a former four-star recruit from the 2019 class. He actually played along the defensive line in high school and moved to a more traditional linebacker role at Florida after his freshman season. He played in all 12 games in 2020 and did that with 6 starts. And then in 2021, he had 10 starts. He chose to transfer to Utah after the 2021 season because he wanted to be in a better situation to win and to play a significant role. He pointed out how Utah used the how they utilized now Jacksonville Jaguar linebacker Devin Lloyd. They also lost Nephi Sewell. So he saw a need. He was like, you know what? I want to win, but at the same time, I want to improve my stock. So that's why I decided to go to Utah. So let's talk about DIABATE, because dude's a long, high-end athlete, and being a former defensive lineman, he has been a very good pass rusher, 53 pressures and 6 sacks on 215 career pass rushing snaps. He has a good lateral ability and uses length to get leverage. He comes downhill very quickly, and he shows a good change of direction, and he's coming into a great situation here in Utah. However, with him, I would say he doesn't have a good feel for coverage yet, and he kind of needs to show some progress there and get in better as a tackler, especially in space, and just finishing plays overall, just better in general would go a long way. I mean, by no means is he a bad tackler, but 15.4 missed tackle rate through his career. He could also do a better job of getting to ball carriers. He has he has the length and the power to create his own path, like his own route, his own pathway to the ball carrier. So utilize it. You don't have to get stuck in traffic. You're a motorcycle. Go in the middle of the cars, like go in between cars. It's probably terrible advice. I don't know. I don't own a motorcycle. Always wanted to, but once I got married, I was given the no. But yeah, so I think for a lot of people, there's going to be a consensus on maybe the top 5 to 6. And then this part of the draft is very interesting because you notice I got a 4th round grade on him because there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of projections, and it doesn't nearly feel as girthy as last year's linebacker class, but we could be like humming a whole different tune by the end of this season. So let's go ahead to number 9, a guy that I actually really liked coming into the season last year, OWEN PAPPOE out of Auburn. He was formerly a 5-star recruit out of the 2019 class. He started every game for Auburn as a freshman and was a first-team All-American. Well, first-team freshman All-American. He started all 2020 and made second-team All-SEC. And then in 2021, supposed to be like this coming-out party for him. And he struggled with a leg injury that he sustained in week 3. He returned in week 9, but was ultimately shut down after the next game. He was on a scooter for spring practices, but he is expected to be ready to go for the opener in 2022. And I'm kind of hoping he does, because he is a bit undersized. You see that. But this dude, his nickname is the Freak because of his athleticism. Like, you go back during his recruitment, dude ran a 4.47 40. He had a 40-inch vertical jump, and dude's literally might be the best athlete in this linebacker class. Like, he matches up and mirrors tight ends and running backs with ease. I love the change of direction. Like it's just his ability in that regard. This dude plays twitched up. He packs a lot of punch in such a small frame. Like this dude comes down with a head full of steam, and there are reps he takes on guards and centers and legit moves them back at the point of attack. Like you could always go back to this highlight a few years ago where he literally was blitzing the A gap, and Lloyd Cushenberry tried to step up to him and ended up on his butt. So this dude's also been a team captain for the defense since 2020. But yeah, the dude does have a lot of pop, a lot of power through his frame, but he's still undersized there at 6'1". 6'1", 226. Just he lacks the length and the static strength to like shave off blockers consistently, so he will get locked up there. He can be a bit inconsistent as a tackler, though the tackle rate's still pretty good at 12.4%. Typically it's like if they're under 10%, it's like this guy's a sure tackler. Once you start getting to like 18-20% missed tackle rate, then it's kind of like, uh-oh, we got a problem. So he's at 12, so he's a pretty solid tackler, but still something you kind of want to put out. You got to imagine that number goes up if he doesn't get bigger in the NFL. Despite his athleticism, he doesn't make many plays in coverage. Like he bites on play actions and tends to start when he's in coverage, start the play there in the hole, and he doesn't have the length to really be a playmaker there in coverage if he's coming there late. But love this dude's athleticism. Bit undersized, but I like the cat. By the way, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. And the popular thing now to do on YouTube, if you really support the channel, is to share the video. So go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead, get back to the nitty gritty. At number 8, I got Ivan Pace Jr. out of Cincinnati this year, though, and we'll get to that because this is actually a guy I really like coming into after I got done watching him. I was like, yeah, there's no doubt this guy's gonna be in my top 10. So Ivan Pace, he was a two-star recruit out of the 2019 class. He was Division I Defensive Player of the Year as a senior in high school, where he wasn't just the linebacker, he also was like the running back and ran for over 1,400 yards and 22 touchdowns that year. He played in 13 games as a freshman for Miami, Ohio. That's right, he used to be a Red Hawk as a reserve, but tied an NCAA record 4 sacks in a game with 6 versus Akron. He started all 3 games in the shortened 2020 season for Miami, Ohio, and then remained the starter all in 2021, where he was the Mid-American Conference's Defensive Player of the Year. Well, that's via PFF. He decided to transfer to Cincinnati, where he also joins his younger brother, Deshaun Pace, which, spoiler alert, Deshaun Pace narrowly misses the list. We'll cover him at the end of the video. But what I like about, and by the way, Deshaun is actually his younger brother. It's Ivan's younger brother. Pace, this dude is a smooth and quick athlete. Like, this guy bounces all around the line of scrimmage, and he does a great job of not letting blockers latch onto him. Like, he shows sideline to sideline speed. He does a good job squaring up on ball carriers and like just laying them out. He reads and reacts well, always puts himself in a position to make a play in coverage or on the ball carrier. He plays with a high motor. He will pursue till the whistle. He's always a very powerful hitter and just fills lanes effectively. Does a great job timing his blitzes and closes in very quickly on the quarterback. However, he does lack the desired size. Like, length, not great at 6 foot, 239 though. You kind of wonder, can his body like hold up like physically, because he does seem a bit smaller because of the height. There are also some reps he is just laid out and put on his back in the run defense, so there will be questions about his physicality, at least against defensive linemen. Against offensive linemen, excuse me. If offensive linemen engage him, then he is usually just out of the play altogether. Like, he does a good job of like not letting guys latch on, but when they do latch on, then he's typically out of the play. He doesn't really have many ways to disengage, especially with the lack of length. Occasionally, he slips off tackles in the open space, but 10.6 missed tackle rate in 2021. I'm not too worried about it. Dude's a smooth athlete, but I wouldn't say he's elite for this position. Could be high end. Big fan. Is we're gonna like this portion of the video here, like from 9 to 7 is like, hey, these guys are a little undersized, but I really like how they play. As we'll now get into my number 7 on this list, Mikel Jones out of Syracuse. I'm a real big fan of. And he is a bit undersized at 6'1", 224. He's actually 2 pounds smaller than PAPPOE. But he was a 3-star recruit from the 2019 class, and he played in all 12 games with only 4 starts, but still managed to lead all freshmen in tackles. He started every game in 2020 and in 2021. He was first team all ACC in 2021 and has made honor roll every year. That's right. This dude's kind of smart. So first things first, this dude's ridiculous around the line of scrimmage. Like, Syracuse runs many of those like mug formations or mug fronts where basically the linebackers are lining up on the line of scrimmage, and Jones just shows good power and good pop to hang with the interior players, and he does a great job shuffling from gap to gap and keeping an eye on the ball in the backfield. And the dude's just great. He takes great routes to the ball carrier and will square up and light them up. 6.7 missed tackle rate in 2021. If you didn't know, now you know. That's freaking wonderful. He appears also to have a real good length, and I say appears because this guy wears like a ton of horizontal, like I say horizontal, but a ton of like armbands, and you know those horizontal stripes give the illusion that something's longer than it really is. So that's why it appears he has length, but I don't know if this is an optical illusion that it's like, okay, I see what you're doing there. You had me thinking one thing, and we're going to get to the combine and be like, oh my gosh, you're a T-Rex. What happened? So I'm just going to put that out there, but it does look like he has good length. He shows good bend off the edge, 33 pressures and 6 sacks on 174 pass rushing snaps from 2020 to 2021. Dude's very explosive downhill and off the snap. Like I talked about playing in those mug fronts, and Syracuse, they play a Tampa 2, right? And in a Tampa 2, typically you're like middle, or at least one of the linebackers, whether it's Mike, Sam, Will, whatever, they're typically going to be playing like a deeper zone, right? So it's kind of like, hey, it's cover 3, except for our linebacker is like our center fielder to some extent. So that's kind of what Tampa 2 does. So he's playing these mug fronts, and this dude literally has to fly from the line of scrimmage to get to his assignment, and the dude explodes. It just explodes to his assignment. I think that's very impressive. Now let's talk about some of the things. I would say Jones is an above average athlete laterally. Like, he appeared like, I wouldn't say he's like sideline to sideline. It's more so he takes very good routes to ball carriers, and he does a good job of staying out of traffic. But I don't think he's anything like special, change of direction, or again, just his general like movement skills. I don't think they're always. I just don't think they're like tops, like solid. Like he does seem a bit plotted in. I don't know, but when he's pursuing, wasn't asked to really do much in coverage. A lot of times he was either spying the quarterback or hanging back in hook zones. He showed ball skills in 2020, but rarely made splash plays in coverage in 2021. So, something to monitor. Do we see those ball skills in 2022 or whatnot? Also, putting on a little more weight will help him hang with NFL strength. But again, another guy, like, because again, this linebacker class, a lot of projecting going on in these outside of the top 5, really top 5 or top 6. No, I'm gonna stay by top 5. I feel like there's a lot more projecting going on. So, like, again, these last 4 guys I just like listed, like they quite possibly could end up day 3 guys, like mid day 3 guys, just because other guys emerge. I don't know. We'll see. That's the fun of these preseason lists. On to number 6, Justin FLOWE. And yes, this guy's just a major projection. Let's go ahead, get into it. Was formerly a 5-star recruit in the 2020 class. As a freshman, he missed the short impact 12 season with a torn meniscus. And then in 2021, he played a whopping 65 snaps in the season opener versus Fresno, but sustained a foot injury that ended his season. So yes, he has played a whopping like 70 some snaps in his short career. See, from the little that I've seen from FLOWE, I feel like we can be certain that this guy is just a phenomenal athlete. Against Fresno State, like in 2021, this dude showed off explosiveness. He showed off the twitchiness he has as an athlete. He has good full body strength, poses his physicality on ball carriers, but I am curious if that physicality carries over when taking on blocks, something we didn't see a lot in that game. He plays with a full tank, hot motor. He checks a lot of the boxes physically and athletically, but until he plays legitimately more college football, there's not much more you can tell about that. Like, you go back to like his recruitment to Oregon and you're like, yeah, this guy looks like he could be something special. So all this, for all intents and purposes, is projection. It is pure projection because we need to see more collegiate action from FLOWE. He just needs to stay healthy. That's honestly his biggest concern heading into this year. Stay healthy, and it's really hard to give an honest evaluation or honest opinion of him as a football player until we see more of him. So just based on the athlete, I feel like he could definitely be maybe he's a first rounder. Maybe. I feel like putting him in the third's pretty safe till we see more. And then on to the top 5. I'm going to start with Jack Campbell out of Iowa. I really liked Jack Campbell. Dude was formerly a 3-star recruit from the 2019 class. He also ran track and played basketball in high school. As a freshman, he mainly played on special teams there for the Hawkeyes. And in 2020, he saw action in 5 games but missed most of the season with illness. And then in 2021, he started every game and made first team All Big Ten. Campbell is just a good freaking linebacker, just straight up. He's a sure tackler, 9.2 missed tackle rate, so that's pretty darn good. He has great instincts. He hardly finds himself out of position. He reads and reacts well, both in the run game and in coverage. He'll find a hole in the run game, and it has the balance and short area quicks to make a play in the backfield. He keeps his feet moving through contact, which y'all know I love a guy that just keeps churning those feet. I don't care the position. And just can move through contact and make plays on ball carriers. His length creates problems in the passing game, and he does make splash plays in coverage. His hustle is relentless, and he closes in pretty well. Now, Campbell, I would say, okay, let's change direction. It's whatever. It's like, it's all right. It's okay. And there's not much. He's just not doesn't seem like he's a pass rusher. He doesn't show many pass rush moves, and against more athletic blockers, Campbell really struggles to break free and finds himself just kind of out of the play, whether it's as a blitzer or as or in the run game. But again, those are all kind of minor quibbles. You look at him and you're just like, this guy can play the linebacker position pretty darn well. Now, number 4, I actually have his teammate, Jestin Jacobs out of Iowa. And straight up, this dude's just my cup of tea. Formerly was a 4-star recruit from the 2019 class. He redshirted his freshman season and only saw 1 start in the short 2020 season. But he became a starter and there for Iowa in 2021, playing more of this overhang safety role. So like a lot of snaps in the slot. But this is like, dude has the length and the athleticism the NFL is starting to move towards when it comes to the linebacker position. Like, he does a great job in coverage. He's long, possesses great closing speed, and dude's just been a playmaker for the defense and an enemy of the quarterback. Like, typically, this is the type of guy they normally struggle against, or typically, like, he's like the type of player that would struggle against the run, but that's really not the case. Like, because you look at his build, it's like, okay, yeah, 6'4", 236. He's long. He's athletic, good in coverage. Okay, he probably sucks as a run defender, right? No, that's not the case there in Iowa. Like, this dude's long enough to get off blocks, fairly easy, great closing speed, makes tackles in space, 7.8 missed tackle rate in 2021. He's more capable as a pass rusher than what was really displayed, as he only had 30 pass rushing snaps. Like, this guy is quick off the edge. He shows bend. Hello, and he's able to get good leverage on tackles. Like, legit, sky's the limit. Like, we could be talking about this guy if he comes out and has another stellar season, like top 50, maybe even first round. Now, when it comes to some of the cons, it's like, okay, this guy's first meaningful snaps were last year. He's still developing a feel, honestly, just for the game and what the defense is asking him to do. Like, he can be late when diagnosing plays, but I mind you, he's such a great athlete that it's impressive how he recovers. He is a bit lanky and kind of needs to fill out that frame, but again, this is a dude scratching the surface. I'm very excited. I talked about him a bit last year as well. I was a big fan. I love me Justin Jacobs. At number 3, we got Henry To'oTo'o out of Alabama. He was formerly a 4-star recruit from the 2019 class. By the way, this is when he played for Tennessee. He not only played linebacker in high school, but he was also played running back. Now, as a freshman for Tennessee, he made the SEC all-freshman team. In 2020, he started every game, however, decided to transfer at the end of the season to Alabama, who was a team that actually heavily recruited him before he decided to go to Tennessee. He started for Alabama, led the team in tackles. Let's go ahead and get into him. Dude's a wonderful athlete, natural-born leader. He has the ability to really match up on secondary playmakers such as like tight ends, running backs. He shows a good feel for zone. He does a good job of reading the quarterback, sniffing out screens, sniffing out checkdowns. He has the type of closing speed that creates just negative plays and turnovers. So it's like, okay, I like what I'm hearing as a blitzer. Like, he does a great job of disguising and timing his blitzes well and is very opportunistic in that regard. If he can refine some of his technique and clean up like some areas, then you're going to hear this dude's name in the first round. However, dude really needs to polish his overall game. Like, as a run defender, dude takes bad angles, gets too caught up in the weeds, if you will. Even when he does get his hands on the ball carrier, he's inconsistent as a finisher, as he's at that 15% missed tackle rate. Again, getting closer to that like 18 to 20, where it's like, oh, what the heck's going on? As a pass rusher, he's more opportunistic than actually being able to take on blocks. Like, he needs to add some strength to his frame. In coverage, he doesn't always trust what he sees, which kind of results him to being slow to the play or slowly reacted to the play. Like, honestly, this cat should have way more splash plays in coverage than he does. He just needs to be quicker when it comes to how he reads and reacts. So, like, I'm hoping like this season is like the season that cements it for him. Like this was a dude we talked about constantly in last year's linebacker class, as it was like, man, I see the promise, I see the potential, probably should return and solidify that stock. And so I'm glad that he did it. Now let's go out and see it. Now let's get to my first round linebackers. You probably already know who they are by this time, but let's go over. My number 2 is Noah Sewell, which might surprise some people, but I got my reason. Just follow me. He was formerly a 5-star recruit from the 2020 class. He is the younger brother of Detroit Lions tackle Penei Sewell. And where's Nephi Sewell? Where's he at? The Saints? Okay, so Nephi's on the Saints, so he's also the younger brother of Nephi. And actually, it's wild, they actually have a brother who plays in the USFL, or played in the USFL with the Philadelphia Stars. That was Gabriel, so if you want to look him up. Anyway, he played in every game of the shortened Pac-12 season, was Pac-12 Freshman Defensive Player of the Year, started every game in 2021, was a first-team all Pac-12. Dude might be the strongest linebacker in this class. Dude just takes on tackles easily and isn't slowed by contact. I mean, at 6'3", 251, who would have thought? Dude's like a freight train. Legit is. He has long arms, I like the closing speed, led to 34 pressures and 4 sacks in 2021. Dude's got a thick build, good length that causes trouble in the middle field and passing lanes. And he does make the occasional splash play in coverage. This is where I'm like hesitant. And I mentioned this on Twitter a little while ago. If you follow me, if you don't, you should. I'm a good follower. I like to troll a little bit. But I think the biggest concern for Sewell is his prowess in coverage and his knack to miss tackles. Like, the dude's a big hitter. He's got big hitter mentality. I don't hate that, but the problem is many of those come on receptions. Like, in coverage, he occasionally makes splash plays, but for the most part, he's the type of guy the type of linebacker that's going to minimize damage underneath and rather make plays on the ball. The problem is, if you're doing that, then 74% of the yards you allowed can't come after the catch. I'm just going to say that. Like, dude needs to be a better tackler. 18% missed tackle rate last year. There was I forgot the game. I'm really trying to remember it, but like, dude, like, unloaded, I believe it was on the guard, put the guard down, 6 feet under, rest in peace. Hope you're doing well, buddy. And then he goes to literally hit stick, lay out the running back, and he lays out, but he just pushes the guy back, and he's able to like kind of recover. He like does this like jump back, and ends up what should be like a 3 to 4 yard loss turns into like this 7-yard gain, and it's like, that should be easy money. So if anything, I'm more concerned about hey, what's this? You're missing the tackle after you allow the reception. What's this? Like, again, cleans that up, no problem. No problem. You're going to see this guy first round. It's just a concern of mine. Dude's capable of getting better at it. Just be a more sure tackler. So there's that. On to number 1. Let's go ahead and do it. Trenton Simpson out of Clemson, formerly a 5-star recruit from the 2020 class. He played running back and linebacker in high school. He played a rotation role his freshman season with the start in their playoff game versus Ohio State. Started every game in 2021 and kind of just played all over the place. He had over 100 snaps on the D-line, 200 snaps in the box, 12 snaps deep, and then 225 snaps there in the slot. Again, in Clemson's defense, he was like the star role, the overhanging safety, if you will. Mainly played that role there for Clemson, but dude felt fine putting him on the edge as well as they let him loose. And guess what? 31 pressures, 7 sacks on 90 pass rushing snaps in 2021. That's freaking scary. That's freaking great. I freaking love that. He's shown the ability to get good leverage. He uses his length very well, whether it's to clog passing lanes, to wrap up ball carriers, or to present this mean bull rush, because the dude does turn speed into power. I love the change of direction. I love the closing speed, both in the run and the pass game. He's nimble between the tackles and just too explosive for interior linemen to handle. Like, his combination of size, athleticism is going to be very tantalizing. If you remembered how we talked about like how people raved about Isaiah Simmons, I think Simpson could be along the same lines. Now, there will be concerns with his play strength and his anchor versus the run game, since he mainly played an overhang safety role there for Clemson. But the dude has a long build. He can definitely add bulk to that frame. And honestly, I like to see more splash plays and coverage from him. But overall, I love this cat as a prospect. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about some of the guys that did not make the list. Let's first talk about Deshaun Pace out of Cincinnati, since his brother made the list. Honestly, like I look at him and like he's 6'2", 218. He's got a good frame. Needs to put on more bulk, more mass. Like his overall game revolves around staying clean. He just tries to deviate from contact, and that's just I get it. He's a good lawn athlete, but yeah, that's just something I'd like to get better, or like to see him put on that mass. Also, in what did I write here? In oh yeah, here we go. I'd like to see a bit more in in coverage. Like he can make plays in coverage, but also like he was allowed like 83.8% catch rate. So like, because the dude's long and he does a good job of contesting the catch point, but I'd like to see him be more contestant. Like get in there, really make the guys earn it. Dorian Williams out of Tulane, actually a very similar prospect to Deshaun Pace. Just another guy that needs to put on size, and become better. Like for him, he needs to become better as a run defender. While like with Deshaun Pace, like you could see the mentality. He wants to hit hard, he wants to play rough, but a lot of times he has to stay clean or else he's gonna get caught in the play. For Williams, man, he just like he needs to do a better job of just tracking down ball carriers, taking better angles, and because like the guy is a solid, like he himself is a solid tackler. It's just sometimes he takes the scenic route to get to ball carriers. A few guys I had from last year are back on here, like DeMarvion Overshown, out of Texas. Like I love this dude's length and whatnot, but like he cannot hold up against the run. Like he is gonna be like a coverage only guy, if he can't like put on play strength. You got Eddie, here I put how to pronounce it, the Washington cat, Eddie Ilafosho. That's such a sick name. But for him, he's a bit undersized and a bit clunky as an athlete, but he does such a great job of getting it. Like he's real gritty, does a great job of getting in the backfield or just making tackles, clogging run lanes, of bouncing around and maneuvering the line of scrimmage. Like I'm a big fan of him. I see him being probably a mid-round guy. You got Merlin Robertson, who decided to come back out of Arizona State, who's got a really good build, but just been kind of inconsistent there at Arizona State. Mike Jones out of LSU, who Coach O just never wanted to play. Like he specifically moved to LSU to play more of a traditional linebacker role from Clemson. And Coach O was like, I don't want to put him on the field because I don't trust him as a run defender. So that's something we're going to see. Hopefully he's going to be the starter. Like there's a couple of other guys. People might bring up the NC State linebackers, Peyton Wilson and Drake Thomas. Like for me, Drake Thomas looks like this is going to sound silly, but he sounds like your basic white guy linebacker, 2-down run defender. That's just like that's just what he reminds me of. But don't ask me why. And then Peyton Wilson, injuries. Like I won't touch this guy. This guy's just been hurt so often. Just so often. Also, I think he's been a missed tackle machine. Let's see. Oh, let me scroll down. Peyton Wilson. Not terrible for 14.6 missed tackle rate. So not terrible, but again, his injury history is scary. People are gonna bring up a guy like Carlton. Is it Martile? The linebacker out of Troy. The guy's gonna be one of the older prospects. On top of that, he just doesn't have the size. That's 5'9", 210. Like, sorry, that's just that ain't gonna cut it in the NFL. There's a couple of other guys here on my list that I didn't get a chance to get to just yet, but I am going to look at like Noah Taylor at a NC State at a UNC. I believe he's the former Virginia transfer. Let me see. I think that's correct. Cause felt like okay. I just want to make sure that I didn't have him also as an edge rusher because I think he did a little edge rusher, but I'm not positive of that. There's Jacoby Winmont, who's actually he's at Michigan State playing his first year. He transferred from UNLV and was kind of a tackling machine. So I can't wait to actually watch a few of his games from UNLV, see what he can be. So I think there's a couple of guys here and there, but yeah, that's it for the list. Let me know who are some of the guys you thought probably should have made the list. A lot of people are probably going to talk about Troy Brown, another guy that's just undersized, good linebacker, just undersized. So he's probably going to be a day 3 guy. Aaron Brull out of Michigan State. I say Michigan State. He actually transferred from Mississippi State. This is his first year at Michigan State. Michigan State did some things in the transfer portal. Very interesting. But, like, he's a guy that's just, like, feels like he's a coverage pass rush guy. Like, because as a tackler, he's atrocious. Like, he's either creating pressures or making plays in coverage. Don't expect this guy to tackle anybody. Nope. But yeah, that's it for the list. Go ahead, do your own YouTube thing. Tomorrow will be quarterbacks, and I said do your own YouTube thing. No, you go do your YouTube thing, but do the YouTube thing. Hit that thumbs up. Yeah, till next time. You be easy, my friends. Quarterbacks tomorrow. Catch you later.